Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bandwagon Sports. I am your host, Cade Navarro, and there was a lot going on this weekend. So many sports to cover. We had all the NFL action, we had all the UFC action, we had college football news, we had funny things going on, we had a bunch of decisions happening. We got so much to talk today in today's episodes. So, bandwagoners, as you're watching, have a great day. Have a great day. And listen up. Listen to all this stuff I have to say. Because this is Bandwagon Sports. And you are my bandwagoners. So we had NFL action this past weekend. We had Saturday and Sunday games. Lot going on. A lot of playoff implications. And also a lot of sports news. So, first thing we had this past week, we had Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes unhappy with the call on Kadarius Toney lining up offsides. And now we finally get the NFL's decision of how to handle that situation. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes both fined Andy Reid $100,000 for violating long-standing league rules prohibiting public criticism of game officials. Patrick Mahomes has been fined $50,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct during the fourth quarter of Sunday's game against Buffalo and for violating long-standing league rules prohibiting public criticism of game officials. So finally, getting some news about how they're going to handle that situation. And obviously, they don't want people complaining about the refs, even though, hey, we saw earlier during the week, Kadarius Toney lined up offsides 4 times during that game, and it was only called on what could have been the game-winning drive, what could have been the game-winning play, what could have been the play of the century. So, you hate to see it for old Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They played this past weekend, and we also saw some visible frustration from old Patrick Mahomes again. So uncharacteristic for him. But we're starting to see some emotion out of the man. We're starting to see how competitive this guy really is. We saw it mic'd up on the quarterback series on Netflix, but hey, now we're starting to see how he really is as a competitor. We also had the decision on Eagles security chief Dom DeSandro. He will have no sideline access for the remainder of the regular season. So I guess this means that, hey, coming playoffs, we saw that the 49ers were the first team to clinch playoffs. So we'll see him there. Oh, actually, Eagles. Sorry. So Eagles, they have a game tonight. I'm pretty sure probably already clinched a playoff spot. But we should see old Dom DeSandro back on the sideline for the Eagles. And hey, big old Dom. You get to take off the rest of the season. I don't know what that looks like for his contract, but hey, old Dommy D. Old Dommy DeSandro. Go take a little vacation. Watch your Eagles from home. We also had, Aaron Rodgers stating that he is medically cleared to play this upcoming week. So we have, obviously, I think what they discussed in this is that they want to see how the Jets do against Miami, then make a decision from there and make a decision if it even makes sense to come back this season or if there's no reason in pushing this and, hey, just letting them get it next year. But Aaron Rodgers has been pushing all season to, hey, I'm going to come back at the end of the season. We're going to do this for the first time ever, be the first player ever to come back in the same season. And we're going to come into playoffs and we're going to win it all. So obviously I had high hopes for this season, and that wasn't able to happen because of an awful injury that he suffered in literally like one of the first plays of the game. But it is crazy seeing him get back this quick, and you can just see the competitiveness in him. You can see all these top quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, they are all just an elite competitiveness level. And that is why they're here. This is why they're professionals. They all just want to do anything in their power to win, compete. He's been watching his team all season, hasn't been able to control anything. You know he wants to get under center and control that game. So we love to see it from old Aaron, but do we need him back? Probably not this year, especially after we go over results for this past weekend for the NFL. But, hey, Aaron Rodgers, we'd love to see you back. Oh, football action this past weekend. Okay. So we had Saturday games. We had 3 Saturday games, and then a bunch of Sunday games, obviously. And then we have a game tonight. But, hey, my picks, my Wagon of the Week picks last Friday. We came up 9 wins, 5 losses. So, hey, we were on the better half. We were on the better half of winning. But let's see. This past Saturday, we had Bengals versus Vikings. They had an electric game, electric overtime game. You had Ty Chandler coming in for Madison, and you had old Nick Mullins coming in, replacing Josh Dobbs. And then, obviously, Jake Browning just having another incredible game, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was, like I said, an electric overtime game that came down to a game-winning field goal. But Jake Browning, the man, he said, they never should have cut me. Minnesota, you never should have cut me. You never should have let me off. I could have been your quarterback in this game. And I could have won it for y'all, Minnesota. I could have won it for you all. So, cool to see his competitiveness, too.
It's just me staying, even keel, but there was definitely a little extra part of, just before the game. Like, I remember getting cut there the last time and just being told, like, hey, we might have a spot for you on practice squad. Like, go to the hotel and wait. And so I sat in the hotel for like a couple hours, not knowing if I had a job or not, and then just basically got a text or a call.
So it sounds like he was let off pretty shittily. He's just waiting in a hotel, waiting for a decision. I think manager ends up calling him and is just like, okay, hey, you don't have a job here. So awful thing from Minnesota, but for him to remember that situation and take it into this game, use it as motivation, it just shows the competitiveness, as we've been speaking of on this show already. Like, it just shows how big of a dog all these quarterbacks are. And that's what you got to have. Sometimes you got to have that type of motivation. Sometimes you got to make your own motivation. Sometimes you just got to do it. But old Jake Browning. I think right after we won the game, I screamed at the camera, should have never fucking cut me. Amen. So Bengals pulled off. They advanced to 8-6. And hey, probably putting them into contention. I know that AFC spot, that is a very competitive spot. Another Saturday's midday game, we had Steelers-Colts. Steelers just not able to get anything done. I think with Mitch Trubisky yet again, really missing Kenny Pickett, even though Kenny Pickett didn't offer much to the offense. But Gardner Minshew mania. Big old stash Minshew with 3 touchdowns, 215 yards. Man was slinging it. Colts taking care of business, winning 30-13. Broncos, the night game. Broncos-Lions. Lions absolutely taking care of business. I thought Broncos were going to come in here off their little hot streak, and I thought they were going to take care of business, bring it to the brand new Lions, because the Lions hadn't been playing very good these last few games. But Lions bringing it all back together and winning it 42-17. Sam Laporta, 3 touchdowns. Wow. Sam Laporta having a game. So 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff throwing 5 total touchdowns, 278 yards. Sam Laporta, I think, has the most touchdowns by a tight end this season. He is just getting it done as a rookie. You love to see that, and you hope that, hey, he has a long career in the NFL, because that man is a stud, and especially compared to all these studs that we have at the tight end position. So, hey, keep doing your thing, Sam Laporta. Jared Goff slinging it. Keep slinging it, man. Coming into Sunday's action, we had Bears-Browns. We had Joe Flacco throwing 3 interceptions, not looking good, not trailing the whole game. Down 17-7 coming into the fourth quarter. And Joe Flacco just gets it done, having a touchdown drive and then having a late drive to get them in field goal range to seal the deal. Joe Flacco with another 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But wow, just absolutely destroying it. Joe Flacco, this past Thanksgiving, he was at home with his children. He was tossing them touchdown passes in his front yard. And then now he's out here slanging it, getting the Browns in playoff contention. They are 9-5 right now, 7-1 at home. The Browns with that monster defense, they are just an incredible team. You had Bucks playing Packers. I think Baker Mayfield he literally had just like the perfect game. 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. So Baker goes 381 for 4 to take down Packers. So you love to see it from old Baker Mayfield, just having a perfect game, doing his thing. Packers, another loss. They, even after beating Kansas City and having a decent start to the year, they are starting to kind of fall off a little bit. So we'll have to see if they can come back in this one. Texans coming. Let's see. With C.J. Stroud out, Nico Collins out, Tank Dell out. I mean, you have almost the entire offense out, pulling this game out, 19-16 with old Case Keenum, the old Houston quarterback. It's so cool to see him at Houston, going to school in Houston, breaking all these records, and then now playing for the Houston Texans, and him getting a victory as a starter. 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Just having a day and beating Will Levis. Will Levis and the Titans struggling 5-9, but Texans getting it done. Jets, Dolphins. Oh, Lordy. Dolphins destroy the Jets and shut them out. 30-0. Tua, Mostert, Waddle, all having stellar games. We've been talking about Tyreek Hill and his chance at MVP just for getting that 2,000-yard mark. He sat out this game and was unable to play due to an injury. So not helping his case. He is going to have some electrifying games, probably near 200 yards each for his last few games to break that record and get that 2,000 yards. But Jalen Waddle, 8 receptions, 142 yards, 1 touchdown. It looks like almost all of Tua's yards in the air were to Waddle. So that could have been at Tyreek. But as we talked about with old Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they would need to see what they were going to do against the Dolphins this week to see if it even made sense for him to come back. Jets get absolutely shut out and drop to 5-9. I don't think we're going to see all Aaron Rodgers back this year. I don't think it makes sense unless he just wants to get some reps and get ready for this next year. But it doesn't look like they have a chance at all at playoffs, especially in that AFC where there's so many teams with winning records. This is not the NFC. Sorry, Jets. But Aaron Rodgers, hey, we'd love to see you back. Chiefs, Patriots. Chiefs win 27-17. Not covering the spread. It was 10.5. Poor people. Bailey Zappi slanging 2 touchdowns. Chiefs, you had Patrick Mahomes doing his thing, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 interesting interceptions, one of them actually not being his fault. So we saw Patrick Mahomes yet again get flustered this game, yet again get upset. We see it right here. And guess who again? Kadarius Toney. Look at how upset he is. So ball gets passed to Kadarius, drops it. Should have been caught ball. Kind of fumbles it up in the air. Goes right to a Patriots defender. So visibly upset. Kadarius Toney yet again, and those wide receivers yet again, kind of doing their thing. At least this one wasn't for the game. At least he was able to pull it off, and they were still up by 17. But come on, man. I mean, y'all are just frustrating the hell out of Patrick Mahomes. Worst drop percentage by wide receivers in the last 10 seasons. The Kansas City Chiefs. So in the last 10 seasons, dropping 8% of passes. That's almost 1 out of every 10 passes that Patrick Mahomes is throwing. So crazy percentage. He's got nobody that can catch the ball for him. Nobody that he can rely on. Like, when is he gonna lose trust in these people? Going back to the Browns, we had Joe Flacco receives an extra $75,000 for the win over the Bears. Oof. Don't look at that. So let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of all of these. Moving on, we had Giants, Saints, Tommy Cutlet, Tommy DeVito, unable to get it done in this game. Unable to pull off his 4th game in a row. His 4th win in a row as an undrafted quarterback. But still, to put up 6 points. We had 6 points versus the Saints. Derek Carr coming back in, slinging it. Derek Carr has not had a very good year. His home crowd's been booing him. But Tommy DeVito unable to get it done in New Orleans. We saw his agent wearing his Italian Hall of Fame jacket at the game. He is just becoming an icon. He is just becoming a staple of NFL football. And so is Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito with his little Cutlet, the Cutlet kid, doing his little Johnny Manziel, doing his little pinch. He has just been electric, and this has just become a staple. It has just become one of the most electrifying things that we've seen, and even it's just trending. Everyone wants to do it. I mean, it's addicting. I can't get my hands to stop doing it. Tommy DeVito, you have the Tommy DeVito effect on all of us. So we're seeing it in the NCAA Division III championship, them scoring and doing the Tommy Cutlet. I bet you Johnny Manziel's looking down like, hey, I invented that. But Tommy DeVito unable to get it done, but still, the effect that he is having on this sports world is just incredible, and you love to see it, especially from him and his agent. We had old Falcons losing to the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, you could get a ticket for $4, only $4 in their stadium, and they took a picture right before the game started, and it looks almost dry, bone dry. Nobody wants to go to those games, but hey, Panthers win, and they advance and get their 2nd win of the season, beating the Falcons. Falcons only able to score 1 touchdown in that 2nd quarter. Bryce Young, no touchdowns, but 167 yards, just a game of field goals. Commanders, Rams, Sam Howell gets taken out of the game, and not Trubisky, come on, what's his name? We had Jacoby Brissett coming in, slanging balls. We had Curtis Samuel with 2 touchdowns. We had Terry McLaurin with a touchdown and 141 yards. Rams get the early lead, just absolutely dominating. Commanders kind of coming back in the end with old Jacoby Brissett, but not enough to get it done. Cooper Kupp, the most wide open touchdown we've ever seen. But Rams with an electric offense. They had a rough start to the year, but they're kind of coming around. They're kind of doing it. 49ers, Cardinals. You had Brock Purdy, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, adding to his MVP candidacy. Then Christian McCaffrey, another 115 yards, 1 touchdown. So 49ers just absolutely rolling. But you got Kyler Murray putting up a decent performance for being a 3-11 team, putting up 30 points. But hey, 49ers, Brock Purdy. Is Brock Purdy now the front runner for the MVP? Most likely, because Cowboys lose 10. My Dallas Cowboys lose 10-31 to the Bills on the road, playing on real grass. These boys are just not good in the real grass. Dak Prescott, 0 touchdowns, 134 yards, 1 interception. I mean, come on, Dak. Come on, Dakmas Prime. Oh, we had the least amount of yards. I think it was 92 going into the fourth quarter since 2010. Just a rough performance from the Cowboys. Bills just scoring at will. James Cook with 25 carries, 179 yards and a touchdown. Just a rough performance for my boys, the Dallas Cowboys, as they dropped to 10-4. Just an awful sight. I think Bills now only have one win against a top or above 500 team, that being the Eagles that they smashed. But losing to the Bills, it is just almost necessary for them to get to win out and just get that home field advantage. If they can get that bye first round and then get that home field advantage, that may be their only chance, because on the road they are just god awful. And I hate to see it.
I understand. Y'all fell for the okey doke, didn't you? Didn't you? You sat up there and listened to old Stevie A tell you.
Stephen A. finding every reason to make fun of those Cowboys. And him letting everyone hear it. He's been kind of rolling with the Cowboys this year, but finally taking the Bills in this one and just being absolutely right. You hate to see it when old Stephen A is right. You hate it. But hey, is this the end of the Dak Prescott NFL MVP candidacy? Was that the last straw right there? Did that just absolutely seal it for old Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson? I hope not. We hope the Dallas Cowboy, the first ever Dallas Cowboy NFL MVP, we hope it is not long gone. But Dak, I don't know if y'all need to train on grass. I don't know what y'all need to do. But Dak, you lost me fantasy this weekend. I trusted you. You are my team. You are America's quarterback. I trusted you just like many others did. And you weren't able to get it done for me. Dak, I'm not going to say your candidacy for MVP is over, but you surely need to have some electric games coming forward, and I need that in fantasy. So Dak, get it done for me. Please, get it done for me. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. And then we had the night game. We had Sunday night football. Ravens versus Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence not looking like old Trevor Lawrence. Fumbling the ball twice. Ravens defense looking incredible. Lamar Jackson in the running or in the ground game just looking absolutely electric. We had Lamar Jackson getting out of this incredible play right here. Should have been sacked. How does he get out of there? Comes up, chunks it down the field to my fantasy football tight end, Likely. And just what an insane play. That looks like a little Johnny Manziel play too. But hey, that's just Lamar doing his thing. Let's see. Lamar Jackson, 37th career game, leading his team in passing and rushing yards. Only Cam Newton has done more than that than him in NFL history. So obviously, with Lamar being young, Lamar is going to smash Cam Newton's record right here. I think Cam Newton has most rushing touchdowns ever. But hey, Lamar Jackson you could be the guy. So that did it. That did it for us. This past Sunday, we're gonna have a game later tonight. We'll give our pick later on. But some teams got eliminated or have already been eliminated from playoff hopes. Obviously, Carolina Panthers with only 2 wins, they are out. I think only 5 wins for Tennessee Titans, they are out. Patriots, they are out as well. Jets eliminated. I think we also saw Washington is eliminated as well. Cowboys clinched playoff spot before their game even started. Obviously 49ers, pretty sure Eagles. So we have some teams already clinching spots in playoffs. But yeah, that's going to do it for our NFL segment. We're going to hop into our UFC fights that happened this past weekend. We had our first ever segment on our show this past Friday. Fighting is cool! And so we gave our picks on these UFC actions. We had some electric fights, but we're going to kind of go over some of the things that happened. Leon Edwards going into his fight, weighing in at 170, him gaining 15 pounds. This is not anything new in this sport. Most of these guys do a weight cut, drop all their water weight, and kind of starve themselves of calories. And then once they weigh in, they bulk back up, get ready for their fight. So it's cool just seeing a little visual of this. You can see just how skinny he looks in his 170 versus putting on 15 more pounds. But to start off the main card, we had old Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett having a spectacular showing. It looks like Bryce Mitchell didn't even land a single strike. But Josh Emmett with a crazy knockout. Putting Bryce Mitchell straight to the ground. Just absolutely annihilating the man. I loved Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell and his camo shorts. But to see him on the ground like that, them to pan over to him after trying to roll him over and him kind of twitching. Scary sight. Not anything you want to see there. But it looks like, hey, old Josh Emmett only landed 2 strikes. The second one was the one that did it. That is the sport. That is the UFC and what makes fighting cool. So cool seeing just a massive knockout leading the card. Then we had old Paddy Pimblett and Tony Ferguson. We saw in Tony Ferguson's corner, we saw what's his name? David Goggins helping him out through training this week. As we talked about, Tony Ferguson being the only person to do Hell Week with David Goggins. But hey, would this pay off in a fight? Nobody knew. Nobody ever doubted his cardio. Nobody ever doubted his will to keep going. But hey, he wanted to just prove everyone wrong. Go through Hell Week. But Paddy Pimblett almost getting Tony Ferguson out of there on that first round, just absolutely rocking him. So as we see here, this is the end of that first round. Paddy takes the back. Second round, Paddy just ground and pounds the entire time, just has control over Ferguson. And then that third round, Paddy Pimblett looking a little tired, but inevitably getting it done by unanimous decision and shutting up all the haters. Paddy Pimblett remains undefeated in the UFC. He is a massive star. Hopefully we get to see him in the fight in the O2 next time. Hopefully he's on a Tom Aspinall card again with all Meatball Molly, maybe a Leon Edwards. Get them all in there. Shavkat Rakhmonov fights Stephen Thompson. Rakhmonov, undefeated UFC fighter, 18-0, gets a submission, rear naked choke against Thompson. Just kind of bullies him the whole fight. And finally puts him out. And then going into our co-main event for the flyweight title, we had Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Royale. They went the rounds. They went the distance. It went to the 5th round. But Brandon Royval, with more total strikes, but just wasn't able to do enough, as Pantoja had 8 takedowns and over 15 minutes of ground control. So Pantoja just an absolute domination of a fight, and he defends his title for the first time. So hopefully we see Brandon Moreno. Hopefully we see old Kai Kara France. Hopefully we see some of these fighters come up and challenge him for that title. But very good showing for a co-main event. And then we had the main event of the evening. We had Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. I had Colby Covington in this fight. We had Trump in attendance at this fight. But Colby Covington just looking a little rusty in the ring and just not able to do much. Like, he is known as, just like Ferguson, just a cardio man, just absolutely just putting pressure on his opponent. And for him to be a contender and to try and fight for the title, you would think he needs to take it to the champ. He needs to be getting this stuff done. But Colby Covington just unable to really take it to Leon. Leon just absolutely walking him down, piecing him up the whole time. Colby was able to get him down once, I guess 2 times, but one big time in that 5th round. But he was already down 4 rounds. And ground control 5 minutes. But that was really all he was able to do. Other than that, Leon pieced him up on standing up, just getting ripped with significant strikes. And then Leon Edwards showing that, hey, I can grapple too. I'm an all-around fighter. I'm going to stop your takedowns. I'm going to put you on the ground. I'm going to take you down. So him getting 2 takedowns, just as many as Colby Covington, with only 3 attempts on Colby Covington's 10 attempts. So Leon getting some good striking in.
Stuck with that right hook.
Stuffing takedowns, getting on his back,
Ladies and gentlemen,
making some mistakes, but hey, inevitably showing that, hey, he is the superior fighter. Colby coming out after saying, like, hey, I thought I won the fight. I thought I did enough. I thought it was the easiest fight, but obviously people watching it, that is not what went down. But that was pretty much the card. It was a very boring main event. You had crowd booing. Not something you want to see. You want to see sparks flying. You want to see Colby bringing it to Leon. You want to see him putting that pressure on. We'll see. Hopefully we see Colby come back, but very unlikely that he gets that shot again unless he just has some absolute crazy wins. But they panned over to the crowd during the fight, and they showed old middleweight champion Sean Strickland and with Duplessis, who he is fighting next in this upcoming year, only like a few rows behind him. And they panned to both of them. They're both talking shit. Duplessis doesn't stop talking shit. And just watch
He's
this
being
whole
told that
interaction
Strickland
that goes on.
asks Gilbert Burns' son to move.
So Sean tells him to move, and this is all on.
Wow.
on
Oh, my
air.
goodness.
Oh, wow.
Out of nowhere. That's kind of crazy.
Out of
Well, he
nowhere,
told him.
hops on Duplessis.
You could see Drake is behind him, still kind of talking once Sean turned his back. So I don't know if maybe Sean Strickland heard him, but how about Sean Strickland, who is a psychopath, having the wherewithal to tell the kids
Exactly what DC was saying. Sean Strickland, psychopath, absolute psychopath, just hopping on Duplessis, kind of hyping that fight up, but unnecessary for that. But definitely going to sell tickets that way. Israel Adesanya, the people's champ, is obviously taking a leave of absence right now. So that fight's able to get down. Hopefully you see Izzy come back and beat both Duplessis and Sean Strickland and regain his title. But that's going to do it for the UFC segment. We also had boxing this past weekend. We actually had it Friday night. Well, Jake Paul fighting Andre August. And Jake Paul getting it done in the first round with an uppercut. Absolutely knock him out and send Andre August into the shadow realm. So we have multiple angles of this. Just absolutely incredible. Andre August had more KOs than Jake Paul coming into this. So to see Jake Paul get that knockout against a professional boxer with a 10-1 record, more knockouts than him, just incredible for him. He really wants to show the people that, hey, he is serious about this boxing. He's willing to fight these professional boxers and work his way up to a title fight inevitably one day. But we'll see. We'll see. Old Jake Paul, though, you love to see it. The problem child doing his thing. Just absolutely electric. So that's going to do it for our Fighting is Cool fun segment. We're going to do that every time that there is a big card. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to go over who we think is going to win, go over those highlights after the fact. But 3-2 record on my picks, so not too good. I think the two that I did pick, I'm just fans of the guys. If I was being more realistic, probably would have went the other way. But loved Doug Nasty and I loved Chaos Covington. But hey, they didn't get it done for me. So 3-2 on my UFC picks. And then 9-5 on my NFL picks. So overall, just winning record on picks. Now we're gonna hop into just some college football action to end us off and send us off for our Bandwagon Monday. Get us started for the week. But we had Kyle McCord committing to Syracuse. So Kyle McCord going undefeated all season, losing to Michigan in their last game, and then is actually got himself in the transfer portal, and he is actually getting out of there. So you would think, hey, he only lost one game to Michigan. Why is he getting out of there? They're probably bringing in some top prospects, some top 5-star prospects. They always have electric quarterbacks. You have to think, hey, he's not going to get the job next year. That is why he is getting out of there. But hey, transferring to Syracuse, you hope Syracuse has decently electric offense, but you hope he gets it done. But yeah, Kyle McCord, they had talks with Nebraska. He was having talks with Nebraska and Syracuse, but inevitably committing to Syracuse. I guess he could decommit and go elsewhere, but for now, the man's probably getting paid and going to a Power 5 conference team. I guess it's going to be Power 4. So, good stuff for Kyle McCord. Hope that he gets paid and have a great season with old Syracuse this next year. Cool little site right here. Oh, whoa. Misty with dating, jeez. We had Tom Brady. The last time Michigan has beat Alabama was in 2000. And Tom Brady was their quarterback. So, Tom Brady just absolutely slinging it. This is the only time Michigan's taken down Alabama. Obviously, they're playing each other in the college football playoff this year. Will Michigan be able to get it done? Michigan is the favorite against Alabama, but just passing the eye test, I think most people think that SEC team is going to get it done. But hey, J.J. McCarthy and these Michigan Wolverines, we'll see if they are able to get it done. But yeah, and then we had Jaden Ott, fooled everybody. California, old Cal. This is actually kind of funny. Let's listen up to this.
What's going on, Cal Nation? Got an important message to share with you all. I want to show my appreciation for having my back these past 2 years and making these 2 years a fun ones. I want to say thank you to my coaches, Coach Wilcox, Coach E.T., and all the other guys who have poured into my development since I've been here. But with that being said, I'll be entering the transfer portal this upcoming season. And, yeah, respect my decision, please. Nah, I'm playing. I'm finna stay.
AJ Mott. So funny thing, just seeing this right now, because you got all the talk is around just all these athletes transferring out, getting paid, just looking for that money. It's cool to see that, hey, some of these athletes, they're buying into their program. They are sticking around. They're their first love. They're their first team. They're going to get it done there because they know they're going to get some playing time. They know they're going to get loved by their coaches and everything. So cool to see them just joking around about it. Because, I mean, most of these people are just transferring out. There's no loyalty in the sport, it seems like, anymore. But, hey, maybe there is a little bit. Maybe there is for some of these top guys. Maybe they're staying. So cool to do that. We definitely went viral just because, hey, it's opposite of what's actually happening. People are just making these letters and they're saying, hey, thank you, whatever, sports team nation, but I'm just for the betterment of me, I'm getting out of there. And hey, it's cool to see that these people are sticking around, buying in, doing their thing. Cal, not a crazy program. I'm sure he could get offers elsewhere. But he's sticking with it. He's going to do his thing. He's going to keep competing. So, all right, that's going to bring us into our bandwagon pick of the week. Our wagon of the week. We're going to be going over the Monday night football game. We got Eagles, Seahawks for our night game. We got Jalen Hurts, questionable if he's going to be at quarterback. So if he is out, we have Marcus Mariota coming in for the Eagles. They're on a 2-game losing streak to the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. So to not have Jalen Hurts in this one, it could be a struggle for the Eagles. But we'll see. That is not official yet. But you got DeAndre Swift, you got A.J. Brown. And what's cool is you got A.J. Brown versus DK Metcalf. Ole Miss wide receivers duking it out. So Seahawks 6-7 with an electric offense, though. 4-2 at home. Seahawks will be at home. Okay. Then we got Eagles 10-3, 5-2 on the road, but on a 2-game losing streak and might have their leader out of this game. So Philadelphia, the line right now is -3.5 for Philadelphia, over under 45.5. We are going to smash that over. That is an easy one. This is going to be an electric game, even with Marcus Mariota in. But for that line, I don't see the Eagles dropping 3 games in a row, but also I don't see them winning with Marcus Mariota in. I think this just comes down to whether Jalen Hurts plays or not. I think Jalen Hurts plays this game because he's a dog. He plays this game, especially with his team coming off these last 2 losses. His team needs him. I think he comes into this game, he plays. Eagles win. I don't know about big, but they win pretty handedly on the road against Seahawks. So give me the over and give me Eagles -3.5 to win this game. For fantasy, it all comes down to this last week. This last game of the week. I got DeAndre Swift. Please, Swift. I need a 20 or 30 point performance. Probably not going to happen. But I need you. Honestly, it'd probably be better if Marcus Mariota's in because we're just going to be running the ball. They have not been running the ball. They've not been doing well. But that is going to be our wagon of the week pick. We got Philadelphia -3.5. We're staying with that. And then we're smashing the over. 45.5. The over has just been great to us. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're going to send it off with a little funny click. Look at the little man running down the sideline. Look at that smile. Look at that man. Just loving it. Ooh, just loving football. Just loving it. And this is where this happened, and he will never forget that moment. I'm sure he will. He's a little kid. But he's going to remember that, and he's going to be like, next week, I want to play football. Even that next day. Like, hey, Dad, let's go play football in the front yard. Let's go play. He's going to remember that forever. So, cool stuff right there for him. And just a great way to send off our Monday. So, everybody, that's going to do it for us on our Bandwagon Sports Monday show. This is the start of our week. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great week. And we will see you tomorrow morning for our Tuesday show. So peace out, Wagoneers, my Bandwagoneers. And this is your host, Cade Navarro, signing off.